Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Hydrant. I'm Jim Cooper. With me this week is Jen Tophoney, and I'm sure most of you realize that she is one of the triad of VO booth besties. And we'll slowly have them all on here. One of these days, I might have to have all three on, which would be...
That would be fun.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, we're a little hard to handle.
But I've had Ellie Ray and Deb Monroe at the same time, and I survived that. So I could probably survive you guys. So first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you. We finally were able to hook up and do this.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Jen is at voicecognito.com. Well, let's talk about this a minute, because you and I come from pretty much the same place. As like when I was in radio and first got in radio, there was no place I'd rather be than the production studio. I mean, on air was fine, but the production studio was just way too much fun. I mean, it was like between, I didn't get to write many of them, but all the salespeople would write their own copy and give it to me, and I got to play in the production studio. So that to me was the most fun of the whole deal.
Yeah. But how about that copy that the salespeople would write themselves? Now that was creative copy right there.
Creative is one word I'd use. There's several other words I'd use in there. That there were some rewrites that occurred. Yeah. So I know. Especially with local radio.
It was a lot more fun. It was a lot more fun when I was not on air anymore and just got to focus on those clients. And I had a nice variety of clients. So some of them were straight reads. Some of them we got to have a lot of fun and create multiple characters for them, and the sound effects and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there were a few clients that I got to know that we did a whole Indiana Jones thing on one of his spots, and it was so much fun.
The on-air part was not really my favorite. Well, you know what? It wasn't the on-air part that I didn't like, because there were other stations that I worked at afterward, just, part-time to get that red light rush. It was the format of the station. It was top 40, and I don't do top 40. So I'm probably like the only jock in the world who would not wear headphones in the studio. I would watch the CD player count down and hit stuff because I hated the music so much.
I go back to 45s. Forget the CD player. Go back to 45s, but everything I did was top 40. And I was at one station where I was doing the production, and it was really going well. And they came in one day and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to change the format to 1940s big band." And I was like, "See ya, I'm out of here." It was just like, why do you think that's going to work? But
good luck with that. My grandmother would have listened to it.
Right. So, but that station is now long gone. So anyway, but the other side of that is when I left radio, I did not marry the program director. He wasn't really my type, but I see you went down that road with your husband.
I did. He was my program director. I don't know. He left the radio station. It was a really weird moment. We actually had a very adversarial relationship in the beginning, because he's Italian and I'm Irish, and we're both Scorpios. And so it was like, we're going to do this my way. Well, no, we're going to do it my way. And just one day, actually shortly before he left the radio station to go do something else, when he left, I got morning show. But before he left, I was 6 to midnight, and I did news for the affiliate station downstairs. And I was on my dinner break. I was sitting in the production room, and he leaned in the door and he was talking to me. And it was like a Charlie Brown's Parent moment, where all of a sudden I didn't hear a thing he said. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think I like this guy. And that was like the craziest thing. And nothing happened for a long time. We hung out, we did stuff together, but it was a couple years later that the people that he worked with were like, dude, if you're not with a customer, you're on the phone with her. You really just need to like
Chill
admit
out.
that you like each other and see where it goes. And so we were dating for about 2 years when I proposed to him. Because he's a planner, and I knew if I waited for him to come up with the right way to propose and the right way and the right time, it was never going to happen. So, random Wednesday night, January, icy weather. He came home from work, and I was like, "Hey," and I proposed, and then he spent the rest of the night on the phone with his brother, telling him that we were getting married.
As a Scorpio, the fact that there are two Scorpios living together in harmony is just an amazing feat to me. I mean, that's just you could get rewards for that, because that is just unbelievable. Because Scorpios usually don't get along with
Well,
their
I
fellow
wouldn't say
Scorpios.
harmony necessarily, but it's a lot of fun.
I was taking a
We've been
liberty.
married
I'm
20
sorry.
years and a lot of laughs.
Good for you. Good for you. That's too funny. Let's talk about the VO booth besties.
Yes.
How did this happen?
Okay. It's like a bad joke. So a Christian, a Jew, and a Mormon walk into a bar. True story. We met at the bar in VO Atlanta, VO Voice, One Voice. I know what I'm talking about.
Pick
One Voice
Pick
conference
one.
in Dallas. Jen and I had connected online before Dallas, and so we were looking forward to meeting each other and like actively, we'd exchanged phone numbers so we could find each other, and we were waiting to get a table on Thursday night, the night the conference started, and it was packed because everybody had just come in, everybody was starving. And so we're standing there waiting for a table, and this girl walks up to us and starts chatting, and we're like, well, hey, we're waiting for a table, and if you want to sit with us, we got a table for 12. And she was like, yeah, great. And it was Alicia, and that was it. We spent the rest of the conference together, and went home saying, I don't need an accountability group, and then proceeded to talk multiple times a day, pretty much every day since then. And
well, what was the spark that that all three of you said, there's something missing here we need to fill? When did that realization come?
we started talking. Probably one of the first conversations we had after we got home from Dallas was that it really kind of annoyed us that almost every workshop we attended was somebody giving like a teaser to sell their thing, their class, their product. And I get it. Like that's totally fine. You've spent all this time developing this course. That's great. But there has to be a better way to just get the information. And so we talked about this repeatedly for months. And finally, Alicia was like, guys, we need to do something with this. And the Besties thing came in. I posted something on LinkedIn probably in November and called them my VO booth besties. And it stuck.
Right.
So by January, we had come up with a whole concept for a podcast and interviews live on Clubhouse, and started lining up guests, and it's going great. We're having so much fun.
It's taken on a life of its own. I mean, it doesn't matter where I go, or I was on a call with Deb Sperling, who you've had on Clubhouse, which is where I found out about her, and I ended up taking her course. But I was on a call with her, and we probably talked about, or she probably talked about VO Booth Besties for 15 minutes, just
Aw.
saying, this is where you've got to go if you want the information, because these three have nailed it. And so it's got everybody buzzing. So you guys have hit upon a big thing, and it's
Thank you.
just, yeah, everyone's just talking about it, and I think it's a legacy kind of thing. Like with Ellie and Deb, I was talking to them about Get Mic'd, and they really wanted to do something that would be a legacy. And I was like, well, it is, so don't worry about it. And I think this will be the same thing, because it's out there and people are talking about it.
Well, thank you. And we love Deb. She was like one of our favorite interviews so far. And we're 20 episodes in, but it's amazing the way it caught on. We never expected, like we started the clubhouse, like the house, and we were like, hey, we hit 100 people, and now we're over 800. And it only started in January. We were like, holy cow, how did this happen? And then we moved into a Facebook group, and that within 24 hours had like 300 people in it. And we're like, wow, people are listening. I don't know if people should be listening to us, but listen to our guests.
well, who would not want to hang with you guys? Because there's so much energy between the three of you, and so much positive energy between the three of you, at a time where there's so much negative energy out there with everybody bitching about this, that, and the other thing, that it's wonderful just to, even if you don't participate, just to sit and listen. And, like I said, the guests you've had on have been great, and, they've led to other things. So I applaud you. It's great stuff.
Thank you.
Just great
Thank you.
stuff.
And we do have fun. We really do.
Well, that's the other thing, is you're going to go have fun and laugh at something, because it's just going to be out of control, especially with the other Jen involved. You never know what's going to happen. And
leave it to Greenfield.
Yes.
Yes. It's true. It's a thing.
That's a good title for some sort of podcast or TV show.
That's
Leave it to
what
Greenfield.
I figured. Like, girl, you need a YouTube channel all your own called Leave It to Greenfield, and just make episodes every time I say, oh, leave it to Greenfield, and whatever that thing was, just make it a thing.
It's bad enough she's already been tagged with Naked Jen. Who knows what will come out of it after that?
Well, now she's Magnet Jen. After
Magnet Jen?
Yeah, JMC was introducing the speakers for this year's One Voice, and he referred to her as the person you can't get away from. She's everywhere, and it's true. She is. And and that's not a bad thing. That's 100% awesome, and that's 100% Jen. So yeah. She posted the Wile E. Coyote. He ties the big magnet to his stomach and puts the roller skates on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's her.
That's her. That's a perfect description of her. So. All right, let me ask you some of these goofy questions to see where you end up with these, because I'd be kind of curious.
Okay.
If you were a guy for a day, what is the first thing you would do?
Oh, lift really heavy weights.
Okay.
Because I like to lift, and I don't do it as much as I used to, but back in the day, I was always like really jealous that I couldn't bench press as much or deadlift as much. So that's what I would do. I would go to the gym, and I would lift really heavy things.
I forget who it was, but someone else said basically the same thing, do something with strength and that kind of thing. So, okay, I get it. What is something you're obsessed with?
it goes from moment to moment, like totally OCD. So it depends on, like yesterday it was an unbelievable, like almost 90 degrees here in Pennsylvania. And so I was on a mission to get my stuff ready for my deck. My new carpet came and I was spray painting my flower boxes to match the new carpet because everything has to coordinate. And so that was yesterday's obsession. Today's obsession will be completely different because we're now looking at how to optimize the SEO for the podcast. And so that's today's obsession.
You're a Scorpio. I get it.
It
changes from day to day. I understand. I live that, so I understand that completely. What song should play every time you walk into a room?
Oh, that's so hard because I love music so much. POD, boom.
From the sound, here comes the ready or not. How you like me now? I say, boom. Here comes the boom, ready or not. Here comes the voice from the sound, boom. Here comes the boom, ready or not.
Are your feet the same size?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, they are.
We get few yeses. We get a lot of no's, but we get very few yeses, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
That helps in shoe shopping too.
It does. I have a really short torso though. So clothing shopping is hard.
I get it.
My legs are average size. I'm 5'3", but my torso is really short. So like buying a one-piece bathing suit is hard.
Right. See, I have the opposite problem where my torso is long and my legs, as my wife says, short and stubby. So it's like, thank you, dear, for pointing that out. What are you most likely to eat after a stressful day?
Potato chips. My favorite potato chips were Gibbles potato chips, and like for years, and now they're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone. So I'm on the search for the perfect replacement potato chip, and so far the closest thing I found is Good's potato chips in the blue bag, the kettle cooked, because like Gibbles, they're also fried in lard,
right?
And it just gives them a better taste.
Right.
But if you really want to make it perfect, you dip it in Philadelphia whipped cream cheese.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, potato chips are my kryptonite. I can sit down with a bag of Cape Cod kettle chips and just lose my mind. So I get it. What breed of dog would you be?
Bernese Mountain Dog. I love the tricolor and the eyebrows and their size and their personality.
They're cool dogs. There's no question about it. They're cool dogs. I love them.
I don't have space for one, so I don't have one. But I do have two other monster dogs.
That's what I love when I go like into the city and see people walking a Great Dane. I'm like, you live in the city, dude.
Right.
The dog lives in your studio apartment. Where do you live?
Exactly.
It's just like, I don't get it. Okay, so we got close to this one before, but let's localize it a little bit. What Looney Tunes character best represents you?
I would say probably Bugs Bunny.
What's your favorite curse word?
Crap and a half.
I thought I was the only one that said that.
No. No,
Oh,
I say crap and a half all the time.
So do I.
I mean, it's not really a curse, but it's my exclamation.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And it's perfect because you can use it all the time for anything.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. If you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be?
Our local ice cream shop has a coffee flavored ice cream with dark chocolate chunks in it. So yeah, probably that. I forget what it's called. It's like espresso explosion or something.
It doesn't matter what it's called. Just give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Dark chocolate. The more dark, the more bitter, the better.
Better. Yep. Absolutely. Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Winona Ryder.
That's interesting. We haven't had her before. That's good. I like that one.
We watched Stranger Things together.
Right.
And my kids were like, "Oh my God, you look like Joyce. Like you have the same hair. Like I had it first. I had hair before Stranger Things came out. They copied me."
Right.
But yeah, I love her.
Let's go into the either or section. Well, I'll give you two things. You tell me what your preference is.
Okay.
Bananas or watermelon?
Bananas. Green-ish bananas.
So you don't like the ripe ones, the soft mushy
No.
ones.
And I don't like bananas in food, like banana baked goods.
Banana bread?
Mm-mm.
Library or museum?
Museum.
Dark chocolate or red wine?
Together, both. Do I have to pick one? Because they're perfect together.
That is the same answer everyone gives. So pick one.
I mean, but
It's just to make it
like,
difficult, pick one. If
all
you
right,
had a
red
glass of
wine.
wine and a plate of dark chocolate, where would you go first?
The wine.
Okay.
But I'm really, really picky and snobby about my wine. So.
That's fine.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like, don't come at me with Woodbridge.
So if I buy a bottle of like Boone's Farm, it's not going to go over, is it?
No, then I'm going for the chocolate.
I don't blame you. I think everyone would go for the chocolate at that point. Amusement park or day at the beach?
Beach all day long. Don't really care for the rides and the noise and the. Nope. Put me on a beach.
I'm there with you. Reese's Cup or Skittles?
Oh, Reese's.
Loud or nosy neighbors?
Nosy. I dealt with a drummer attached to my house for several years, and it's really hard to get work done. You can be as nosy as you want, and I can still work.
Salad dressing on the side or on top?
Side.
Live theater or movies?
Live theater.
Which superpower would you rather have? The ability to move objects telekinetically or the ability to shift your shape?
Oh, shift my shape. That's easy.
I'm going to have to change that question because everyone says the same things. Like this is no contest here. So, okay.
Yeah, that would just be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Would you rather give up your cell phone for a month or bathing for a month?
Cell phone. I need to shower. Thank you.
Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green or never have to stand in line again?
Never have to stand in line again. I hate standing in line.
Would you rather go skydiving in a rainstorm or climb the antenna at the top of the Empire State Building on a windy day?
I would do neither of those things, but I would probably.
As any sane person would not do it.
Yeah, skydive on a rainy day. In fact, that was my one and only skydiving experience. Is that a group of people that I worked with at the aforementioned Top 40 radio station all decided that we were going to go skydiving one day. And so we made the reservations and we went, but it was too cloudy and they canceled it.
Yeah.
So I've never actually done it.
Would you rather have a car horn that plays YMCA or own a car with your favorite cartoon character painted on the side?
As a Dukes of Hazzard fan, I'm going to go with the horn.
Would you rather have to eat only liver for the rest of your life or be forced to watch an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians every day for the rest of your life?
Oh, liver. I would rather eat liver.
How many people go the liver route?
At least it's protein, iron.
The alternative is just torture.
Yeah.
Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or fly?
Fly.
Would you rather have whatever you are thinking appear above your head in a bubble for everyone to read, or have absolutely everything you do be live streamed for everyone to watch?
Live stream would be better because I can manipulate that. I can control that. I guarantee you 90% of the things that I think and don't say out loud, it's for a reason.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because if I'm just mumbling to myself, like I am that person who walks around the grocery store talking out loud to myself.
Someone came up to you and say, okay, how do I get into this voiceover business? What, I hear all about this. What's the first thing I should do? What would you tell them?
To not do. No.
Jim Siebert said that. It's like, pick another business.
No. I think you really have to do your research and understand what it is you're getting into. And if you don't have a hard shell, this business is not for you, because the successes are just so percentage wise, so much less than the work that you put into it and the work that you put out there. You've got to be thick skinned. And I pretty much send everybody to Bridget Reel's old blog post about, and because that summarizes all of it. And she just says it all so eloquently and so well that seriously, that is where I send people. Yeah. But as far as the thick skin, like I really don't care so much about whether people like me or not, or what their opinion is. So, I don't take it personally when I'm not hired for a project. Like, okay, I wasn't the right one for you. That's fine.
Yeah, and that aspect of it doesn't bother me, because I think, it's like someone buying a suit or a dress. They're going to pick one off the rack, and that's the one they wanted for that day. It doesn't mean all the other stuff on there is bad. It's just that's the one they wanted for that day. The aspect that really pulls me back and bums me out is I can get so overwhelmed with social media, because all you're seeing is best of. You're not seeing the worst of, you're seeing the best of, and you start thinking, oh God, everyone's working except for me. And it's just like, that mental gymnastics starts playing, and it's like, but fortunately there are so many good people in this industry. I can pick up the phone and call anybody, and they'll just say, knock it off, get off the ledge and get back to work. And I was like, fine, thank you. I'll go back now.
Yeah. I think probably what bothers me more is if I audition for a project and then I hear it or see it, and the person that was hired was so far off the specs. It didn't have to be me, but I sit there and go, what? Like that's the hard part of the industry for me.
Which is what makes Deb Sperling's wisdom so valuable, is that, you do this for the audition and then you do this for the job, and they're not necessarily the same thing at all. And then her claim to fame, of course, is that I don't even look at the specs. I just go in and do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. But I get it. I've done that before, where I've pulled up like audiobooks and stuff that have been given to other people, and I'm like, wow, that's really awful. It's just terrible. So it's like, I get that, but that's the kind of things we torture ourselves with when we do things like that, rather than just moving on. So thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, it was fun. I've been looking forward to this for a while. If you want to know more about Jen, you can go to voicecognito.com, or just Google VO Booth Besties. You'll get pages and pages of stuff to come back, and you can just go in and look at that. Please take advantage of that, because These three are just so much fun, and there's so much wisdom and good stuff going there. And especially if you're having a rough time, these guys will lighten it up for you. And it's good information and good people. So please go see that. Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time on The Hydrant.
We'll be right back.